Welcome everybody to the Jack Yates Soulful 1960's Luncheon, y'all. I'd just like to say thank you for all the support you guys have been giving me, all the Jack Yates family all over the country, even outside the USA, all looks at these videos, the people on the East Coast, the people on the West Coast. We got Jack Yates alumni all over the country that looks at these videos, and I'd like to tell them thank you. But most of all, I want to welcome you into the third annual Jack Yates Soulful 60s. The reason why we came up with the Soulful, because soul was what was happening during the 60s. You know, that you had soul brothers, soul sisters. You had to have soul to be able to deal with the things that we was dealing with in the 60s. And you even had soul brothers, soul sisters. Even came up with the name of soul food. Everything that was consisted of pure black was called soul. And that's why we came up with the Soulful 60s. Even the time when the Motown sound came in out of Detroit. Also, the Memphis sound came out of Memphis, Tennessee. The 60s was a soulful time to be living. But now we're talking about Jack Yates and the 60s, the classes that came out in the 60s. First of all, I'd like to thank the Jack Yates class of 1965. They won the most school spirit for the month of April. And then for the last Jack Yates luncheon we had, the Jack Yates class of 1962, they won the first top seat for the most school spirit. So congratulations to the 1965 Jack Yates class and also the Jack Yates in 1962 for the most school spirit. Now as we go on to talk about the 60s, you know, Jack Yates, the first class came out in '59, but they was always part of the 60s because the '58 class, they came out of 2610 Elgin. So the first class that came out of 3703 Sampson was the '59 class, but they always considered themselves a part of the 60s. And let's start off with the first class. This is why I'm the historian, because I remember everybody that came out of that 3703 Sampson from the 1960s. Start off with the first class of 1959, my big sister, Miss Hestel Harvey Godfrey. Also Mr. Johnny Cobbs. Also Gerald Valier. Also Emma Faye Heights. All of those, and Big John Marshall. All of those people came out in the first class of 1950. Then we came out with the 1960s. Well, that's when they say, let the party start. Mr. William Harvey, my first big brother. Also Mr. Victor Bonner, the late but never forgotten Larry Thomas. All of these are the people who came out in the 60s. In the 61 class, you had no other than Howard Graham, better known as AKA Beaver. Then you also had my first cousin, Booby Harvey. We call him Doc Harvey, out of 61. Then you had Jerome Popcorn, came out of 61. Then you had Don Burns, came out of 61. Then we're talking about the 1962. So these people here I know personally. That's why I don't need nothing to read about them. And then in the 1962 class, you had, of course, our president who orchestrated this Jack Yates luncheon of the Soulful 60s and came up with the name the Soulful 60s, Mr. Ronnie Branch, Rome Nixon. All of these people came out in 62. In the 63 class, what can you say, man? We had always in the 63 class, you had the late but never forgotten Sylvester Armstrong, Molly Stevenson. And then you also had some of the people who came out, and you never can forget about the Jack Yates, Miss Jack Yates of 1963. And there she is, Miss Brenda Holmes. At that time, it was Brenda Jones, Miss Jack Yates of 1963. And then in 1964, you had Jerry Shepard, the late but forgotten Sterling Stewart, and we want to always pray for Mr. Edward Square because he's going through some health challenges. So please put your prayers down for Mr. Edward Square, Jack Yates class of 1964. My big sister, Miss Carolyn Land Devon, my other big sister, Patricia Pullen Williams, or should I say Patricia Williams Pullen. Then you also had, coming out of the 1965 class, you had my big brother, who I've been knowing ever since I came in the world, Mr. Marvin Neal. And then you also had other good people that came out of 65, Mr. what I call him Bro Dick, Willie Williams. All of these people came out of 65. O.B. Harris. All of these people came out of 65. In the 66 class, or really the class I should have came out of, if I wouldn't have got lost over at Miller trying to find my classes. Walter Richards, John Tankerson, also Dave, we call Luther Felder, the late but never forgotten Mr. Samuel Putney, and also some of the other people that came out of my class in 67. You had Mr. Kenneth Motley, you had Linda Dunn, you also had Kathleen Klein, you had Miss Debbie Allen, and you can't forget about our sister Felicia Allen. She came out of Jack Yates class in 1966. And then you had Louis Carrington. All of these are good people who came out of 67. And in 68, you had Miss Tanya Lott Holder. You also had Rufus Browning. You also had Brenda Lane. You also had Mary Blacklock. You also had Linda Gins. All of these people came out in the class of 1968. And the class of 1969, the last class to come out of the 60s, my little sister, Arva Howard Neal, Michael Smith, his wife, Christine Criner Smith, who finished Jack Yates in 1967. And then you also had Miss Beverly Status, Beverly, who also finished in 69. The late but never forgotten Mr. Tommy Harb, the late but forgotten Miss Sharon Hughes, the late but forgotten Mr. Douglas, also Mr. Douglas out of 1969. And then in 1968, you can't forget about my little sister, Miss Jean Carroll Williams, and her husband, Ron Tompkins. That's Jean Carroll William Tompkins, y'all. All of these people, man, I knew by heart. You see, I'm not reading none of this. So as we get ready to have our third Jack Yates Roaring 60s luncheon, we're going to see who's going to win the most school spirit as we go. And you can't forget about my other big sister. She finished in 1962. That's Marcella Neal Guitry. And my other big sister, she finished in 1960, and that's Barbara Ann Neal Martin. And you can't forget about the 1961 with Dawn Burns. So, as you see, these people who I knew, that's why I'm the historian of the school. Not only of a school, but of the whole city of Houston. But my heart will always remain as a Jack Yates line for life. So let's get into it. We're going into the third meeting of our Jack Yates Luncheon. And like I said, congratulations to the Jack Yates class of 1962. They was the last one to win. And then also, congratulations to the Jack Yates class of 1965. They was the first one to win the most school spirit. So let's get busy.
My name is Brandon Soulful 60s, and I'm here to present a class of school spirit for the month of April 2025 for the most people in the class of 65 attending our first Soulful Sisters Reunion Luncheon.
Wanda Jackson Davis, class of 1965, and I am just blessed to be here with my fellow classmates.
Here to receive the class of 62 with the most spirit by having the most people here is Masu Kramer Tomlinson, class of 1962. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And we're just happy to still be here. And so with our classmates.
I'm from Jack Yates Senior High, 1961. My name is Donald Burns.
Jack Yates Senior High School, class of 1961, Zedit Merritt Edwards.
Jack Yates Senior High, class of 1961, David Collins.
My name is Ronnie Branch, Jack Yates, class of 1962.
May Sue Kramer Tomlinson, class of 62.
Pat Stevenson, Jack Yates High School, class of 1962.
Louis Malone, Jack Yates High School, class of 62.
Warren Lewis, Jack Yates High School, class of 62.
I'm Joel Clauser, Jack Yates High School, class of 1962.
I'm Roy Lee Hampton, class of 1963, Jack Yates High School.
Hi, I'm Joe Billy Fussy Williams, class of 1964, Jack Yates.
Jack Yates, 1964, Roy Lamel.
Jack Yates High School. My name is Wanda Jackson, class of 1965.
I'm Willie Williams, Jack Yates, class of 1965, and co-chair of the class of 65 committee.
I'm Betty Nobles, Betty Goodwin Nobles, class of 1965, Jack Yates Senior High School.
Julia Johnson Branch, class of 1965. Go Jack Yates.
Sandra Oakley, class of 66, Jack Yates High School.
Ursel Lyons, class of 66, Jack Yates High School.
Mathis Dupas, class of 66, Jack Yates High School.
Carolyn Branch, class of 66, Jack Yates High School. Flowers, class of 66, Jack Yates High School.
John Bailey, Jack Yates High School, class of 66.
Thurman Lamb, class of 1966, Jack Yates High.
All right, I'm Robert Booley Williams, and I'm at the class of Jack Yates, class of 1967, and I got my classmates with me today. Come on.
My name is Yvonne Nelson Edwards.
Wilbert Parker from the great class of Jack Yates High, 1967.
Hello everybody, I'm Jan Waits, class of 1968 at the most historical Third Ward School, Jack Yates Senior High. Hi.
Jack Yates High School, class of 1969, Roy Johnson.
Jack Yates, class of 1969, Jacqueline Haller Johnson.
Jack Yates, class of 69, Ernest Boogaloo Parker.
Jack Yates Senior High School, Beverly Strauss, the class of 1969.
Jack Yates Senior High School, class of 1969, Diane Thomas Ansley.
Jack Yates High School, class of 1969, Earl Ellis.
Michael Smith, Jack Yates Senior High School, class of 1969.
Hi guys, this is Diane Courtney Taylor again, and I am introducing my daughter, Tanya Taylor Jones, who was a graduate of Jack Yates 2000.
2000, class of 2000. Hello everyone, my name is Tanya Taylor Jones. I am class of 2000 from Jack Yates High School. Hello everyone, I am here with Queen Diane Courtney Taylor. She is a graduate of Jack Yates High School and she is class of 68. I am her daughter, Tanya Taylor Jones.
Still inspired.